A group of prominent Canadians is calling for a national dialogue on First Nations. The group includes former prime ministers and well-respected Aboriginal leaders. As our Ottawa Bureau Chief Jacques Brebeau reports, they say Canada needs to rebuild trust.
Too often, this is what passes for dialogue between First Nations and the rest of Canada. Clearly, it's a relationship that's not working.
You got to keep working at it. That's the best you can do.
The problems facing Aboriginal communities are daunting, and Native leaders say they're being ignored.
It's not considered a crisis by the rest of Canada, even though the suicide rate is 10 times higher.
Against that backdrop, a prominent group of Canadians says it's time to rethink and reboot the relationship between Canada's Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal populations. Led by former prime ministers and Aboriginal leaders, on Thursday they signed a declaration calling for a new partnership. They're not offering solutions. Instead, they want to start a national dialogue.
Been very disappointed with the lack of respect that I see between our respective societies.
I think that Canadians feel very strongly that the condition in which Indigenous Canadians find themselves is just simply not tolerable.
And to do that, one Native leader says both communities have to better understand each other.
It means stepping back from some of the misinformation that's been circulated about us, as living off taxpayer dollars, for example, and recognizing that, a lot of the wealth that's been extracted from the resources across our ancestral lands has been taken without our consent.
This initiative comes as the relationship between Aboriginal people and the federal government is becoming increasingly rocky. Disputes over resource development, education, missing Aboriginal women. And if that relationship isn't repaired, this group warns there will be consequences.
I think that if something like this does not happen, the tensions and the conflict in the country generally will grow more serious.
And unless things improve, the fear is this will increasingly be the way Canada's Indigenous peoples talk to their non-Aboriginal neighbours. Jacques Brebeau, Global News, Ottawa.